Hey, what's going on, everybody? Steve here, Rake and Profit over at rakeandprofit.com, coming back to you with Joshua Crisp. And today we are talking about the micro launch formula. Now, we're not saying that your launch is going to be micro, but it's a micro launch because what we're going to be covering in this workshop is how to launch on more or less a shoestring budget, if you want to call it that, but also how can we launch a bunch of products on a budget quickly to find that winner. We got Josh Crisp here. This is workshop number 3. First video, we talked about research. Number 2, we talked about sourcing. Now we're talking about launching. What's going on, brother? How you doing today?
Doing fantastic, man. This is one of my favorite topics to talk about, Steve. This is one of the ones where you're going to make it or you're not going to make it. This is where a lot of people are losing money. And this is a system that I developed over the last several years. So I'm super excited to share the micro launch strategy with everybody here today.
Now, I need everyone to do a big favor for us right now. If you're, I see a bunch of people coming in right now. Do us a favor and smash that like button. Let us know that you're enjoying these videos and this free workshop. I've been getting a ton of messages behind the scenes on Facebook, DMs, emails. People are really enjoying this content. So I want to tell everybody right now, take out a pen, take out a pad, get out your Google Docs or whatever it is that you're using to take notes and make sure that you're paying attention closely. We're going to be rocking and rolling until about 7:45 today. So it's going to be a little bit shorter. So we're going to be moving quick. We're really going to be flying through this content, answering as many questions as we possibly can, helping you out. Now, I do want to let you guys know everything that we're teaching in workshop number 1, which covered researching hot selling products that could sell for $5,000 to $10,000 per month. Video 2, we talked about sourcing, how to go on Alibaba and how to source these products, how to find them, reverse engineer it, source it, how to talk with suppliers, biggest mistakes to avoid, how to negotiate. We covered all of that. Today, we're talking about launch. Tomorrow, we're talking on video 4, how to scale. All of this is building up to the webinar that's going down on May 12th. Seats are limited. We already had a bunch of people join, and we're not just saying limited seats as like a marketing ploy to get you in there, but literally when you run a webinar on something like Webinar Jam, do you use Webinar Jam?
Yeah, yep, Webinar Jam.
They only let you have a certain amount of people show up. It's not like YouTube. So you literally have to sign up. It's 100% free. But I want to get you guys there because if you're going through these videos, this is the foundation for the webinar. The webinar, we dive deep. We really cover everything. So with that out of the way, let's get right into it. We're going to do some shout outs in a couple of minutes. So let us know in the comments. If you're here watching live, let us know where you are from. Let us know maybe the number one thing you've learned so far, but we're going to just get right into it. Let's talk about the micro launch. What exactly is the micro launch and what are we going to be covering today?
Yeah, awesome, Steve. So the micro launch is once we find our product, we find our supplier, we ordered that small test batch, test run amount of units. Now we're sending it into Amazon. So what do we do next? And that whole process is called the micro launch. So if you guys are tuning in on video number 3 and you didn't watch us where we broke down step by step how to find that product that's going to make $5,000 to $10,000 a month, or maybe you missed video 2 where we show you how to find a supplier, a manufacturer, how to verify and validate that they are a good supplier, that they're a good source to make your product, then you want to go back and watch video 1 and video 2 after this. But once you find the product, verify, validate it, you reach out to the supplier, you negotiate, you tell them how you want everything, you order your product. Now your product is on the way to Amazon. So what should you be doing? First and foremost, guys, what you want to do is you want to go ahead and start working on your Amazon product listing. Now, a lot of people get carried away with launching this first product. And one of the things that I see a lot of people do is they'll actually hold up the process and spend an extra substantial amount of extra money by going and hiring a professional photographer, going and getting all these photos professionally edited and the whole 9 yards. And now, with that being said, because I want you to take this with a fine grain of salt, your photos are very important on Amazon. But what's more important, guys, is you making money and you verifying that this product is a winner before you start literally going all in and spending all this extra time and money. Now, the key component with the micro launch, guys, because we're essentially testing a product. We did all of our due diligence. We checked to find, is the product going to sell 24/7, 365? Is it a seasonal product, a trending product? Are we going to make the money? But now we have to get the real data because we use softwares and We did our due diligence off of Amazon and through Google, but now we want actual factual data directly from consumers. So that's what we're going to do. And the whole secret with the micro launch, guys, is speed. I want you guys, if you guys are taking notes, note takers or money makers, I want you guys to write down success loves speed, because with the micro launch, you got to understand that there are millions of sellers. And even though that sounds like a lot, like, holy crap, it's saturated, there's hundreds of millions, 100 million plus Prime members. So there's way more. It's literally 100 to 1 consumers to sellers. But the chances of you finding a product and someone else not finding that product are very slim. Other people are going to be finding these products. So first to market, first to dollar. So when you find these products, we want to literally test them and get them to the marketplace as fast as possible. So a few things that's going to hold this up is your pictures. If right off the gate you're getting professional pictures done, professional photography done, this is going to take time and cost additional money and resources. So what I highly suggest when you guys are starting out is go and ask your supplier for high resolution images that do not contain a watermark or a logo. Now, 9 times out of 10, guys, these huge companies, these manufacturers, they have a facility inside of their warehouse where they take their photos, or they've already taken the product that you're buying and have gotten professional photos. So all you have to do is say, hey, can I have the rights to those images? Can I borrow those images? I'm going to throw my logo on there just to verify that this product works. If this works out on my next test order, I'm going to send some to a photographer, or I'm going to take photos. I'm going to get them edited and redo all of them. 9 times out of 10, guys, they're going to say yes. So what this is going to do is save you a substantial amount of time, because now you don't have to receive the product, send the product out, find a photographer if you don't do it yourself. And it's going to save you a substantial amount of money, because now you're not going and paying for these photos, so on and so forth. And once you verify, hey, this product is a winner. And the way we do that is by waiting for 5 consecutive days worth of sales. So if we're selling 1 unit one day, 10 units the next day, 0 units the third day, that's volatility. So what we want to look for is at least 5 days of consecutive sales. And once we see that, we know that there's depth of market. We know that this product is indeed a viable product. So then we reorder more of the product, and then we can go ahead and set up those pictures to get taken and to reach out to someone to take pictures and edit the pictures. Now, what you can also do, if you get those stock high resolution images for free from your supplier, what you can also do is you can go to Fiverr.com. So www.fiverr.com, or you can go to Upwork.com, UPWRK.com, and you can actually hire freelancers for $5, $10, $15, as much to $100, depending on what you're doing. But inexpensively, you can hire freelancers to go and doctor these images up for you. You can create different photos like lifestyle photos, which are basically a stock image of somebody using your product where it's photoshopped in there, or a infograph, which is an image where you actually have your product and there's little lines coming out talking about benefits, features, differentiating factors, so on and so forth. So you can still have really good images, really good edited images, and you can do this quickly and inexpensively. Second of all, before you go and you hire a copywriter or you put a bunch of time and effort into the listing, you want to write the listing and you want to make sure that it's legible and makes sense. It's not just keyword spamming, but you don't want to go and, again, spend any exterior energy in reference to outsourcing or spending extra money to have anybody do things until you actually get your product launched on Amazon. Because the most important thing, guys, is speed with this Amazon private labeling. And the AMZ formula, the whole thing is to find the product, verify the product, validate the product, and then once you verify and validate it, then to scale it. And this is like my own proprietary secret sauce. And this is how we can literally find products. Like when we're finding products and a product is a loser or a product is a failing product, we can actually profit on these products. So many people are scared, like, what if I get started? What if I pick a product that doesn't work? It doesn't sell. I'm going to lose all my money. And it may be everything that I have. So I never want to get started. People fall victim to analysis paralysis. But with this strategy, when you follow this strategy, you're not spending hundreds of dollars on photography. You're not spending money on copywriting. You're not ordering thousands of units. You're ordering a small test batch. And then when you get it to Amazon, literally within 2 weeks, you can actually tell, hey, am I going to be able to get this product to the first page? Is this product going to get momentum, or is it not? And if it's not, what we're able to do, guys, is we're able to liquidate this product because, and let me just take a step back, right? A failing product, when you follow this strategy, guys, does not mean that the product is not selling. A failing product doesn't mean that you source this product, find this product, launch it on Amazon. It's just crickets, right? A failing product, when you follow the strategy that I'm sharing with you guys, means that it's not selling enough monthly units or daily units to hit that goal of 10,000 a month or 5,000 a month or 3,000 a month or whatever it is. That doesn't mean that you're not making money, because remember, on these products, guys, at bare minimum, we want to make 30% profit. So even if the product is not selling enough daily units to get our goal of $5,000 or $10,000 a month, now we have a question that we ask ourselves. Number one, okay, it's making money, it's making profit. Do we want to keep this SKU and go to a next SKU, or do we want to eliminate it and move to a brand new SKU? So that's a question that you get to ask yourself, and you're really in a good position. There's no way to lose. One of the main reasons why people lose is because they find a product, they do their due diligence, they look in the software, they think it's a good product, like we discussed, and then they go and order 2,000-3,000 units. And then they go spend a ton of money on photography. And then while they're doing this, they're building a website. They're putting all their eggs in this one basket. Then they get it to Amazon and launch. And it's difficult for them to launch it to where they thought or they anticipated. So the name of the game, guys, with the micro launch is speed. Finding that product, getting it to the marketplace as fast as possible in a small test batch, spending as least amount as possible. Like, my goal for you guys is to spend the least amount of money as possible and get results as quick as possible, because success loves speed. Now, another key, guys, with the micro launch is when you are doing this, there's two different ways to ship from China or anywhere exterior. If you're shipping internationally and not domestically, you can ship via air cargo or you can ship via sea cargo, right? So one is a plane, one is a boat. Now, shipping via air is going to be more expensive than sea, but it is going to be 3 times faster, right? When you ship via sea, you could be 30 to 45 days, depending on the season, the load, so on and so forth. There's different complications that go into logistics, but depending on all those factors, it could take 30 to 45 days. When you're shipping via air, it could take 3 to 5 days. So it's significantly quicker, but it is also more expensive. So most people would say, hey, why wouldn't you ship your first shipment via sea to save the money? I'm looking at it as the time, right? Once we find this product, we want a proof of concept. So amateurs, what you want to understand is amateurs make money on the front end, guys, and experts make money on the back end. The big guys, the 7-figure, the 8-figure, the 9-figure sellers, they are rapid testing dozens of SKUs, and they're getting them to the marketplace at break even or a small profit. They don't care about the front end. They want to get those hard, cold facts directly from consumers that this product is a good product. This product is indeed going to move and shake. Once we get that data, immediately we're calling in another order from our supplier, which is larger, and then we have that shipment sent via sea. So we're able to save money on that shipment. But for these small test orders, we want to pay a little bit more and get them quicker because they're small test batch orders. Does that make sense? I kind of feel like I went a little faster. Does that make sense, man? It's just
no, that definitely makes sense. You want to get that item in quickly, and you want to test it. You want to get those cold hard facts to see, is this working or not? Because why do you want to spend all this time, all this money, all this resources? Plus, if you're putting all this upfront time in, there's an opportunity cost as well, because you have no idea if it's going to work or not.
Absolutely.
There's a huge difference between looking at, obviously you want to do your research. We covered it and we talked about Jungle Scout. And we talked about what you want to be looking for and how much you want things to be selling for and how many times you want it selling a month, so on and so forth. And you want to find an opportunity that you can improve upon. But again, the rubber meets the road when you actually get that product in there. I think that's what you're really trying to say.
Absolutely, because even though there's all types of softwares out there, we went over a few free ones, a few paid ones, and these softwares are amazing. But what that is doing your due diligence, and it's API generated or algorithm based machine learning. It's not factual consumer data. So we want to use these different softwares. We want to use all the stuff we covered to make that data-driven decision, so we're not jumping the gun. And that's crossing your T's and dotting your I's. Now, the way that you seal the nail on the coffin is by getting that product actually to Amazon in front of consumers. Now, when you do this, and if the product isn't moving and shaking how you thought it was going to, or it's not going to sell enough daily units, monthly units to make you the money that you want, you are able to pivot quickly because you only have a few hundred units or you only have a few dozen units. I usually recommend 30% of what you anticipate selling monthly. So if it's selling 1,000 units a month, order 300. You can get rid of that at 10 units a day. That's 30 days worth of inventory. You can move that quickly if this thing isn't performing how you think it will.
Now let's go to the other side of the coin, Josh, and let's say, things are performing great. Things are selling on pace with what we predicted. We did our research. We used Jungle Scout. We applied everything that we learned, and, things are actually moving like we predicted, pat on the back. That's awesome. But now we have ourselves a little bit of a problem because we only have 30% of the inventory, and we're going to run out in the next, week and a half. We're going to run out. Once you validate that idea, what's the next step? Because I've heard from a lot of sellers, the last thing you want to do is have a successful product that runs out of inventory, because that's going to hurt you in the algorithm stopping and going. First of all, is that correct? And secondly, how do we deal with this?
Yeah, so in reference to what you're talking about, Amazon's ranking is the BSR, which stands for bestseller ranking, and that fluctuates every single hour. So there's 24 fluctuations of the BSR, just like 24 ticks in the stock market. And every single hour, Amazon does a sweep to see the performance of your category, your subcategory, and your seller account to determine how do you rank in the search engine, right? So one of the worst ways to affect your BSR is, of course, to sell less units or to actually go out of inventory. But I would rather run out of inventory for a few days or have to increase my price and my BSR drop a little bit than to have 2,000-3,000 units. And now I'm selling 3 a day. And then at the end of 45 days, I get hit with extended storage fees, which means that my Amazon seller fees increase significantly. So now I get a slap on my wrist, because Amazon wants you to move through your product, through your inventory every 30 to 45 days. They do not want a bunch of inventory sitting in their warehouse that's being complacent, that's not moving. So it's a catch 80-20, right? Everybody has their personal opinion about it. Some people say, you know what, if you cross all your T's, you dot your I's, you don't want to run out of inventory, order 2,000-3,000 units. But when I started, Steve, I didn't have $5,000 to $6,000 to just put out there. And then if this thing moves slowly, you know what, we'll just get to another SKU, we'll sell through this, or we'll pull it, bring it to our warehouse and sell it on eBay. I didn't have those options, and a lot of new sellers don't have that option. So my way is a little bit more cautious. And if you do get that product and you're crushing it, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to increase your price so it slows the sales down, and your BSR is going to be affected. But in the meantime, you're immediately putting in that that order, right? You have that order on the way, and you can ship that order again via air or via sea. So it's a catch 80-20, right? But this is a little bit more conservative in a way that you can get that data and not be stuck at a point where, okay, if this thing takes off, you can't get product A, or B, if it doesn't take off, you're stuck with all that money, all those products in Amazon.
We got Mr. Bowtie Nicholas even off in the house. What's going on, Nicholas? Thanks for coming and hanging out with us. Nicholas is asking, what would you consider to be a small amount of money in regards to the micro launch? How much did it cost to get your first product up? Success or failure? How did you find that? Or how did you fund that?
Yeah, so a couple questions in one. So a small amount of money, it depends on the product, of course. Like products can cost $1, they can cost $100. So I will tell you this, typically you can do a micro launch with around $1,000. Now, that's give or take depending on the size of the product. Like you're not going to micro launch office chairs for $1,000, but typically if you follow that golden rule for products that are standard size, that weigh less than 5 pounds, fit in a shoebox, you can order a couple hundred units, pay for shipment, have a little bit of funds for PPC, and get everything up and running for around $1,000. Now, the more money that you have access to in this business, obviously, the better. A real sweet spot is between $3,000 to $5,000 when you're starting out. But I started with $1,000. I started with $1,300. I even started with $700. Now, I ran out of inventory every single time, like Steve said, but I didn't have the money to order the extra units. And I didn't even understand how the micro launch worked. All I knew is I was buying everything that I could afford, hoping it would work. And what would happen is they sucked. All the products sucked and they weren't selling, or they were selling and I was getting slaughtered with reviews like we talked about the other day. So it's throughout the failures and throughout the years of me doing this, I created this strategy, and the strategy works well. So in reference to how can you fund this, there's a few different ways that you can fund this. And we'll talk about starting your Amazon company or launching products strategically. So number one, you can, of course, use capital that you have saved. Number two, what I recommend is using a 0% APR card. So if you have decent credit, go and get a 0% 12-month APR card where you can basically get 0% interest, so you can transfer balances onto that card for 12 months. Use that to scale that thing up. That's another way that we can do it. You can also use a small business loan. Like right now with what's going on in the current environment. I almost dropped the word. I know you said not to drop the word, but with what's going on right now in the current environment, there's loans that are unforgivable, right? And as low as 1% interest. So take advantage of that right now. Like, I know if you guys are listening to this down the road, that thing is probably not going on, but right now, today, take advantage of any small business loans like that, any loans that are going to give you real low interest. Another thing is do a partnership, right? Usually people have money or they have time, right? People that don't have money have the time. People that have the money don't have the time, vice versa. So if you have the time and you're learning this skill set, you don't have all the money, partner with someone that has the dough, have them put up the dough and create some type of mutually beneficial equity split or something like that, to the point where, hey, I'm going to do the research, I'm grinding, I'm going to manage everything, you put the dough up, and then we'll do whatever we do, like a 50-50, 60-40. That's on you. So that's another strategy. And then the last one is lending companies like Cabbage is a good one. If you guys, like a lot of you guys are flipping stuff on eBay. So I started with eBay, and because I built up my account through PayPal and eBay go hand in hand. By having reputation, having a good reputation with PayPal, you can actually apply for PayPal working capital. You can apply for PayPal credit. So you can use PayPal credit or PayPal working capital. And the way working capital works is off of every sale that you get from your other business, they'll take a small portion off to pay off that loan. And the way PayPal credit works is you can apply for PayPal credit by just going to paypalcredit.com or paypal.com/credit. You can apply for credit and they'll give you funds for 6 months, 0% interest. So there's multiple different ways to get creative. And I tell people, Steve, if you don't have the resources, it's time to become resourceful.
So we've talked a lot about the launch. We've talked about, you've given a lot of tips and advice regarding the micro launch, and really grateful for you to be here sharing this information. You know, for the folks who are just coming in, Joshua has been running a private label Amazon business, which means he imports mostly all of his products from China and overseas on Alibaba.com, brings them into the States. Typically his supplier will ship it directly into Amazon, and he brands these products. And he's built out three brands, 12 products, and he's done over $11.2 million, almost $3 million plus over the last year. So he knows exactly what he's doing. So when you give people this advice, you ever give somebody, for the folks watching, let me know, have you ever given someone advice, and maybe you're an expert with something and you give them advice and they take it, but then they they switch things up? They're like, well, I'm going to do it my way for this. What would you say is the number one thing, Josh, that people are going to try to like switch up? Like maybe you gave them advice to do this, you gave them advice to do that with the launch, but most of your students, you see your friends, you see your family who have helped, and they just switch it up. And you're like, oh, I told you not to do that. What's something people have to watch out for?
Yeah, so I can tell you guys, listen, and we all do this as entrepreneurs. We always want to make things unique or do things ourselves or pioneer things. And I can tell you guys this, that don't reinvent the wheel. Like, one of the biggest things you could do is reinvent the wheel in any business, including this one as well. And one of my mentors told me that you can always tell who a pioneer is because they're laying face down in the dirt with arrows in their back. So one of the quickest ways, like, success leaves clues. I didn't invent how to sell on Amazon. Like, I threw in my own little twists, my own little strategies, but we basically took something that's working, we added to it. So you guys are light years ahead of me. Like, if you take what's working, you apply it, maybe add your little twist to it. But if you follow it, you guys should be good. And like, one of the main things, Steve, that people do, the biggest mistake, two biggest mistakes is, number one, people give up. People give up because they become frustrated because they don't make this that fun business. They make this like this unrealistic goal with a deadline, right? Like, when
gotta be making 10,000 profit every month by 2 months. If I don't hit it, then I'm a failure.
They get frustrated. And then what happens is they compromise on their metrics and on their products. And then now it's like a job or a duty to do product research versus something that's fun. So I always tell people, like, when you're doing this, have realistic expectations. The goal is to make $10,000 a month. The goal is to make 100 grand, then $1 million. That's everybody's goal. But set yourself with realistic expectations. Have that goal of $10,000, and then have milestones that lead up to that $10,000. Maybe you find that first product and it makes $3,000 a month, which is 10 units a day, $10 profit. But guess what? That's a huge jumping stone. And for a lot of people, that $3,000 a month will change your life. Then go back to the drawing board and find another one. And that's the way it works, because the only way that you fail is by not starting or giving up. And the number one reason, if I had to bet money on it, that people give up with me working with thousands of people across the globe, Steve, is that they set unrealistic expectations, and then this becomes unpleasant. I got to do product research again. I've been doing it for a week. I haven't found a product yet. Don't set time limits. Don't set restrictions, and don't set unrealistic expectations. If you follow everything and you don't give up, it's a matter of time. It's not about how. You know how. This is proven. I've done it. Millions of sellers around the world have done it. I'm not the first, nor will be the last. So if it's not about how, it's about when. And that's when people give up, because they want instant gratification, Steve. Like in today's society, if we're bored, we can pick our phone up and go to Instagram or YouTube and be entertained within seconds. If we're hungry and we don't have time to cook, or we're impatient because we're really hungry, we can go to our freezer, pop in a TV dinner or a pizza, and we'll have a meal in 15 to 20 minutes. So in today's society, everybody has instant gratification. And you do have to understand, even though this is one of the best businesses to start right now in 2020, it's still a real business, and there still is real risk, and things don't always work out. And your first product may fail, but remember, failure is only a form of progression, and the true failure is if you don't start it, you give up.
Hey, I love it, man. I love it. Absolutely right. Carissa Powell's in the comments asking, okay, so you have a product. Who orders more inventory, or do you watch sales and order yourself?
Great question. So there is so Seller Central is like your little hub. It's like your eBay, right? Your eBay seller dashboard, which is Seller Central. And inside of Seller Central, there's a little tab that says inventory, and they give you all this cool data on how many sales are you selling, how many days until you're going to run out of inventory. There's also a Amazon app for Amazon sellers, which is completely free. You can get it in the Google store, the Apple store. It's just called Amazon Seller Central. You can download that, and it'll actually send notifications to your phone. You have X amount of units left. This is how many units you sold today, and you can go directly on there. And based off the units that you have left, you know when to order. So let's break it down and say that you're selling 1,000 units per month. If you're selling 1,000 units per month, you divide that by 30, you know how many units you're selling in that day, right? And if you have a certain amount of units left, and you know it takes 15 to 30 days to get an inventory, you would multiply that to find that number, and that would tell you the day or the amount of days that you need to order your product before you run out of inventory. So I always like to have a little bit of cushion in there. Again, they're not going to hit you with extended storage fees if you have a little bit of overlap, but if you have complacent inventory by the dozens or hundreds, they will slap you on the wrist. So it's very easy not to run out of inventory. And that's really the two things that you got to do, Steve, is number one, make sure you don't run out of inventory after you verify and validate this product. And number two, make sure that you are monitoring your advertising.
I got a question for you, and thanks for that response. When do you call it quits on a product launch? What are really, I mean, we covered a little bit about this, but maybe we could go a little bit more in detail in terms of, you know, this micro launch, and what are the tall tale signs that, you know what, this just isn't going to work. I mean, these are dead staring right in your face, and you're like, wow, you know, it wasn't what I thought. And what's the reason why it typically doesn't work, even though you did your research and you applied, you know, the methods that have been proven to work?
Yeah, so there's a few reasons why products don't work. In reference to when to quit it, when to call it quits is another huge problem that a lot of sellers have, because their pride starts to kick in, and then they want to force the product to work. So you can force any product to sell, but you cannot force any product to be hyper profitable or to sell X amount of units per day with hyper profitability, right? So when you're launching this product, and if 2 weeks goes by, if a month goes by, and you're following everything that we're showing you guys, and you're not getting those consecutive sales, that's when I like to call it quits. Now, like so many people, and here's another thing, Steve, like when people do their launches, they're running Facebook ads, and they're doing giveaways, and they're doing all this crap to fool them, to manipulate the algorithm, and to skyrocket to the first page. A lot of beginners, they don't have that extra capital to do this and that risk tolerance. And of course, you can launch any product and just throw a bunch of money into marketing and make it rank. But can we do this profitably? And then after that, can we sustain it? So what we do with our micro launches, we're looking for these products that have high demand, low competition. And we're ranking these mainly off of PPC and that influencer strategy that we're going to discuss in Skyrocket in scale phase. But once you get these products and you realize, you know, after 30 days, after 14 days, it's not picking up momentum. Your BSR, bestseller rank, is not increasing, you're not selling those consecutive sales, then it's time to start hitting product research again and liquidate that product by rather just letting it sell its course on Amazon or by extracting it and liquidating it on another website like eBay being one of the big ones. And one of the main reasons why people fail with this is because they go into it wanting to launch a product that they have an emotional attraction to, and they're not leading with data. So never lead with emotion, always lead with data. If you follow the numbers, you do your due diligence, you cross your T's and you dot your I's, you're going to have a high success rate with these products.
Very cool. I want to know who here is getting a lot of value out of this video. Josh, man, super grateful to have you here dropping all this knowledge. Again, if you're just coming in, Josh has done over $11 million in sales, almost $3 million in sales over the last year. We're not here to tell you that you're going to be able to replicate that. He's been doing that for a while, but imagine if you were just able to get a little slice of that and build yourself either a side hustle or even replace your income down the road. So hopefully you guys are getting value out of this potential opportunity. And I see a lot of comments coming in. We're about to get into the comments right now. So if you do have a question, keep asking the questions. Now, I do want to know who here, put a 1 in the comments if you guys are all signed up for the free webinar that's going down on May 12th. Again, we've got the website on the screen right now. Also, you can go in the description, first link in the description, rakeandprofit.com/FBA training. Everything we're talking about now is just the tip of the iceberg. It's all going to come together on May 12th. Everything. It's all going to come together.
It's going to be really illustrated well. So you're going to be able to see it step by step exactly how we do it. And we actually dive a little bit deeper into them and showing you step by step exactly how to do that. Wow, Steve, we got a lot of ones in there. I see B, Mark, Brittany, Shannon, Sherry, Jen, Vincent, Renee, Carissa, Jen, Vincent. You guys rock. You guys are action takers. Action takers are money makers, Steve.
I love it. I love it. All right, let's start smashing some of these questions. We got about 15 more minutes to chat. Well, actually about 10 minutes. So we're going to run through these quick. So let's just wrap. What's that called when you answer the question super fast?
Rapid fire, is it?
Rapid fire. Yeah. Rapid fire. All right. So let's do it right now. Rapid fire. Okay. Let's see. Thomas is asking, do we need to worry about branding? If so, how early must the new seller start the brand registration process with Amazon?
Fantastic question, Thomas. So branding is huge, especially with private label. But again, nothing is more important than you getting proof of concept on your first product. So once you launch that first product, you do the micro launch, you're killing it. You're getting multiple days of consecutive sales. You know this thing's going to take off. You ordered your second shipment. Now it's time to go ahead and start that trademark process, because the trademark process is going to take a few months all the way up to a year, depending on the classification type, the structure, so on and so forth. On top of that, once you get your trademark, you can then apply for brand registry, which is going to unlock EBC, which is enhanced brand content, which is going to unlock literally all types of benefits and features. One of them being the seller protection, meaning that no one can hijack your listing. If you get a hijacker on your listing, they have dedicated support. You email them, they're usually gone within an hour. Another huge one is you have access to the A+ content, which is going to be videos on your actual listing, as well as additional images, descriptions, and videos below your products, which increase conversions like crazy.
Love it. Love it. Vincent is asking, how do you choose the right shipping agency? Do you freight forward? How many options do you choose from?
Yeah, awesome question, Vince. So we went over this, I think, yesterday. There's a few different ways you can ship via EXW, FOB, or DDP. And the difference between those three are basically who's responsible for the shipment, you or the supplier. So what I like to recommend for the initial test order and the initial micro launch of your product is to go with DDP, which is direct to the port, direct duty port. And basically your supplier is going to manufacture your product. They're going to package your product, and they're going to be responsible from the manufacturing all the way to the receival of your product in Amazon. They're going to handle everything from the freight forwarder, the tariffs, the inspections, everything. It does cost a little bit more money, but in the beginning, when you're ordering a small amount, it's not a significant amount. Now, once you do your second, your third order, and you're starting ordering more units, I recommend you already have a relationship with your supplier. You have some dough coming in, go with EXW. EXW basically means that once your product is manufactured, it's at your manufacturer's warehouse, their facility. The freight forwarder comes and picks it up, takes it to the parcel, whether it be air, whether it be sea, however you're shipping, and then takes it and it goes directly from China to the US. Once it's relieved at the docks, then you have to get it through customs and then DHL, UPS, FedEx, whichever carrier is going to pick it up and take it to Amazon. Now, it sounds like a bunch of extra loops, but you can do this through a freight forwarder. One of the ones that we use is Flexport. You can also go to Freightos.com. If you go to Freightos.com, that's a broker to actually find shipping agents or different companies that deal with logistics. So you can choose to go directly with a company, or you can go with a broker. They make a little bit of cushion, but they find you a reputable freight forwarder. So it depends. Large orders, EXW or FOB. Small test orders, I recommend DDP.
Great question, Vincent. Thanks for your response, Josh. Renee Lee is asking, let's keep up the rapid fire, guys. We got about 5 more minutes and we got to roll out of here. Renee Lee is asking, if you were having the inventory directly sent from China, which is your supplier, to Amazon, how does it get attributed to your account?
Awesome. So on your packaging, there's a series of barcodes and labels that you will actually email from your Seller Central account. You'll download them, email them to your supplier. One of them being your FNSKU. Your FNSKU is the unique proprietary code that goes on your packaging, and that's basically converting the UPC, which is an item identifier, to Amazon's UPC, which is called an ASIN or ASIN, right? So once they bring your case products in, your pallets in, they open them, they scan those, they're going to go into the system, and that's how Amazon's going to know how many you have in your system. They're going to know that your product is getting checked in when they actually scan the top of the big parcels or the box or the pallets, whatever you're shipping, because those are actually the case unit identification stickers. So those tell you, hey, this is such and such shipment. This is what it contains. Then they're going to open them. And as they open them and they scan them, they're actually getting checked in, which goes into the inventory management system inside of Seller Central. I lost you, Steve. We can't hear you, brother.
Oh, sorry about that. I muted my microphone. I apologize about that. Vincent's asking, how do you get UPC codes and Amazon codes?
So Amazon codes are going to be the ASIN. If you're talking about the little barcode that goes on the bottom of your product or on your product, it's called an ASIN. You put the UPC into Seller Central under Edit Your Listing. They're going to generate it from UPC to an ASIN. Now, you can get a UPC from anywhere online. Now, full disclosure, Amazon's TOS or Terms of Service highly recommends that you use GS1 barcodes, which are UPCs that come with their own certificate. They are extremely expensive, and to the best of my knowledge, a majority of Amazon sellers do not use them. I personally don't use them. I have 12 SKUs. 8 of them I've been selling for several years consecutively. So you do your due diligence on that. If you buy the dollar UPCs from Speedy Barcodes, or you buy the GS1 UPC codes, which are about $100, that's up to your discretion, but you can get those from a third-party company.
Awesome. Well, that's about all the question that I see in the comments. What a great video. Really appreciate all the knowledge. And for the folks here who are getting value in this content, again, sign up for the webinar, rakeandprofit.com/FBA training. It is limited seating available. There will be no replay available. It will not be on YouTube. All these workshop videos, the replays will be up for a week. Workshop 1, researching products. Workshop 2, sourcing. Workshop 3, which is today, which is our micro launch. And then workshop 4, which is tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern time on YouTube. We're going to be covering, the skyrocket scaling. I don't know what the title is on it, but it's
Skyrocket and Scale.
Skyrocket and Scale. So it's all about scaling your business. So if you guys haven't already, sign up for that webinar. First link down below in the description. And let me pull this off of the page. This is what it's going to look like when you go over there. It's discover the 5-step proven formula that Josh uses to start and grow online businesses from anywhere in the world. This is just a screenshot, so it's not in 7 days. It's actually on the 12th. At 7 p.m. Eastern time. So be sure to sign up for that now. Also recommend anyone who hasn't had a chance to watch workshop video 1, 2, and maybe if you're just coming in now, watch all of them before tomorrow. So tomorrow's video is all about scaling your business. You want to make sure that you watch everything before, because these videos are all building upon each other. We put these in a specific sequence for a reason. This is the sequence you're going to go through when you create and build your private label business. You're going to research, then you're going to source, then you're going to go through the micro launch, and then you're going to scale. Obviously, there's some things in the middle. There's a lot missing, and you're wondering, how do I find all the missing stuff? May 12th. That's why we're doing this on May 12th. So be sure to go over there, rakeandprofit.com/FBA training. Any final words that you would like to give to all the committed, dedicated people who are in the comments right now watching live from all over the world?
Yeah, guys, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. So listen, guys, you are the guys and girls who are going to put in the work, and you guys are going to get the results. So I'm super excited, super pumped, Steve, to share this business model that transformed my life, changed my life, and most importantly, be able to share with everybody how they can get started. So again, just to recap what Steve said, if you guys missed video 1 through 3, you guys do not want to miss this. We're going to be showing you guys step by step. So go back, watch the other videos. They all lead up to the grand finale, which is the workshop. If you guys have not registered to the workshop, I know these videos are 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour long. Come spend 90 minutes with us, and it's going to change your guys' lives.
Hey, thank you so much, Josh. So grateful to have you here. And of course, for everybody watching live, this wouldn't be the same without you. Thank you so much for bringing all the energy, the positivity, and all the great questions. If we all work together, we're going to grow together. And that's what it's all about. Love this community. So thank you, everybody. See you on tomorrow's show, 7 p.m. Eastern time, Skyrocket and Scale. And then, of course, if you haven't already signed up for the webinar, link first link in the description or on the page. So Josh, everyone in the crowd, thank you so much. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Talk soon.